Hi, welcome back to Let's Talk Careers. I'm your host, Lisa Bauman. Today, we're going to be hearing Hiba Kassab's incredible story. Her journey takes her from Lebanon to Kuwait and to Canada and spans 3 different industries: not-for-profit, finance, and education. I was truly inspired by Hiba's story and the harrowing decisions that she's had to make. I hope you enjoy. Well, welcome, Hiba. Thanks very much for joining us today. I'm going to start by getting you to introduce yourself. And we're going to go with what I call the James Bond style of introducing himself. But instead of doing it like the backwards way, like Bond, James Bond, we're going to go with, your first name and then a pause, and then your first name again, and then your last name. And the reason we do this is because people are terrible at remembering names, right? Yeah. So this helps them. So how about you go ahead and introduce yourself? You can talk a little bit about what you're currently doing and even maybe something you're passionate about.
Thank you. So my name, Hiba Kassab. Yes. I am currently teaching at Consultancy College, and I am the CEO of MpowerU Training and Consultancy. It is a company that I founded with my friend, and it is all about teaching and everything that we do over here to the Middle East and to the Gulf area.
Okay, that sounds very interesting, and I hope we can dive into that more. Yeah. What I want to do is sort of take you a little bit back and ask you to talk about sort of your first paid job, whether you were, a young person or maybe you just graduated university or college, or let's go back to some of that. What was your first sort of paid opportunity?
It was at the university when I was doing my bachelor. I had financial assistance, so I was working at the university in an English lab.
Oh, cool. What university?
Lebanese American University.
Okay, and where was that?
In Lebanon, Beirut.
Okay,
yeah.
And you did your undergrad in what area?
International affairs.
Oh, no way. Okay, yeah. That's interesting. And what was the hope there in terms of doing international affairs and all that kind of stuff?
I wanted to work in a non-for-profit organization, and I did that. I worked at the UNESCO on a project, on a culture project, Arabic culture project. It was called Kitab fi Jarida, which was a book in a newspaper. So every month on the first Wednesday of every month, all through the Arab countries, 22 countries, we would prepare the film and we edit it. And so we have a whole book in a newspaper as a supplement.
Okay.
And we used to prepare it at the UNESCO.
Okay.
And at that time, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
There wasn't the internet. There wasn't all these stuff. So we used to prepare the films. We used to prepare everything.
Okay.
And we send it ahead of time to all the newspapers so that everybody in the Arab world will be reading the supplement in the newspapers.
What was the focus of the books or the films or the?
No, it was book. A book so the films. I mean the film for. To print.
I was going to say, yeah. So, okay, I was going to say like the template almost to print it. Okay, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was to have access to these books that are like it's more related to the culture. Okay. So since the Arab world is like, you have people from all over. So, for example, we will have an Egyptian writer, we will have a Lebanese writer, we will have a Syrian writer. And at that time, also, we had painters because they would paint the book, they would put it in a certain layout. So it was to promote the Arabic culture.
Okay. And how did you get that position?
Well, I did apply, like the UNESCO was close to my house, and I had I really wanted to do that. So I went and talked to them and
Applied.
And followed up
Yep.
and be persistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
So, yeah. And it was really, I loved it.
Okay.
And then I got married.
Okay. I was going to say, how long were you there?
Around 3 years.
Okay.
And I didn't want to leave. But again, I got married. It was a long love story. So I had to leave Lebanon. My husband, I met him at university. So I had to leave and go to Kuwait. And this is where I started my second phase of my life.
Okay. So what does that mean? You leave, you go to Kuwait, you start the second phase of your life. What does that look like for you?
I couldn't find something that was satisfactory and fulfilling. So I pursued my MBA.
Okay.
And I did it in finance.
Okay.
So, and it was here, like we're turning to a completely different phase. Yeah. Now it's finance. I have the new passion. It was finance. And I started working in finance.
So, okay. So wait, tell me more, because you can't just drop, I switch. I mean, this massive switch. So what made you go into finance, and what made you pursue an MBA? Like, what was the piece there? What was the decision-making that you were making there?
I was in a new country.
Okay. So you were in Kuwait at the time, right?
At that time, I left Lebanon and moved to Kuwait.
Yep.
It was a new country. I never lived there before.
Right.
And at that time, I looked to work in the same field.
Right.
There was a government at that time rule that they only take Kuwaitis. They wouldn't take anybody to these organizations.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, what would I do?
Right.
What is the right thing for me?
Right.
So I started looking. Like it was, I was looking around, asking people, talking to people, and I was, okay, nothing is satisfactory for me. So I'm like, okay, I think I need to study. If I get a degree from there, things will be different.
Okay.
So this is how I got into there.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I want something that will go with me anywhere I go.
Right.
So I thought that finance will be the right thing for me.
Gotcha. Everybody's got to make money. Everybody's got to spend money, right?
And it should be the same all over the world.
Gotcha. Okay.
Till you come to Canada.
I see. And then it became different.
And then it became different because like I reached where I wanted to reach in Kuwait. Like I got to a vice president of finance in a headquarter. I contributed to the establishment of the Capital Markets Authority, which was like something, an authority by the government to regularize the market in Kuwait. So I did achieve a lot when I was there in no time.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long were you there?
13 years.
Okay.
So basically, this was like at the end before I came here. This is when I joined the Capital Markets Authority, like 1 year before, I guess. And I came to Canada. And this is where you find that you are a newborn. So nothing that you've done in your life matters anymore. And I was fed up with the politics of the companies. And so it's like, okay, what would I do? I've always had the passion for teaching, for learning, for guiding, because I've been a guide, like a leader in the Scouts since ever. And I'm still a leader with the Scouts, it's a Lebanese Scout Association.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So I'm a leader in the General Assembly.
Okay.
So I have this in me and I didn't know what to do with it. And when I was the vice president of finance, because I had the financial manager, so I used to prepare like workshops for them related to whatever we were doing.
Right.
So at the time of the budgeting, it was about budgets at the time. So, and so on. So I'm like, okay, I'm here. I just want to teach. And this is how my story started here. I was working in a company. I wasn't happy at all. But again, I had a family. I had kids. We needed to put food on the table. And since I speak several languages, so it was easier for me to find a job before my husband. So this is why I'm like, okay, but I'm not happy.
Okay.
What would I do? I should be happy.
Right.
And I do not settle.
No. I can tell that.
So, yeah. So I did my 2 certificates at Conestoga College. Okay. The first one was teacher trainer of adults and teacher trainer for online learning. Yeah. And I was hoping that it would get me somewhere. It wasn't easy to get in. And finally, in 2019, in January 2019, I joined Conestoga College. Yeah. I started in the upgrading program.
Okay.
Then moved to the business school.
Yep.
Then COVID.
Right. I think that's like a pause or a theme for every single person's career. COVID. And I was laid off. Right.
And this is where, like, it was the... So I was completely, like, speechless at that time. Like, okay, what do I do now? And so at that time, because it took long,
yes,
I was like, okay, I don't want to rely on anybody anymore. I want to do stuff by myself.
Right.
And at that time, I founded the company.
Okay.
And after, I was talking to my friend. She is a chair in University of Waterloo. So I was telling her, like, okay, so you have a lot, I have a lot. Why don't we get together and put the efforts together, and we can help? Like, teaching is changing so much. So, and we're always learning something new. I am someone who is always in taking professional development courses. And I also pursued another certificate in teaching during COVID. So I'm like, okay, why don't we take whatever we're doing here to our part of the world? So to the Middle East, to Lebanon, to Kuwait, to the Gulf, to Egypt. So we might be able to help them instead of them sending people over here. So we can save them some money. And instead of sending 1 or 2, we can go and pass the knowledge to
many,
10, 20, 30, and so on.
Yeah.
And now I'm pursuing my PhD in educational sustainability.
Oh, good for you.
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. Where are you doing that?
In Nipissing University.
Okay. Yeah. In North Bay.
North Bay. Yeah.
So can I just go back and ask a question? What made you, and it sounds like your husband and your family, decide to move from Kuwait to Canada? I'm curious about that.
It goes back to 2006.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Lebanese.
Yep.
My husband is Syrian.
Okay.
So, and we were living in Kuwait.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I love Lebanon. And if anything, I would go back to Lebanon. I would go back to Beirut. I just love everything about Beirut. And we were talking, okay, so if we are leaving Kuwait, where will we go? And so we decided to go to Lebanon. and we will, and at that time we had a down payment for a house. In 2006, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
In 2006, I took my kids. At that time, my kids were like really young. They were, one was 3 and the other one was 6. And took them to my parents for the summer because I was extremely busy at work. My husband was extremely busy. I was like, okay, I have my sister in Lebanon.
Yep.
You know, I have family
Yep.
and the kids will enjoy themselves and so on. And they will spend this summer with my parents. And suddenly, I don't know whether you know what happened in that time. So my kid, so we heard that there was something going on in the south. My parents live in Beirut.
Okay.
So we are from Beirut itself. So it was far away, but not very far away.
Right.
But we've always had this issue with Israel, like where we get attacked at any time. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me go and get the kids. And if something's happened, at least my kids are with me. I went to Lebanon and I got stuck. So it took me long to take my kids and leave Lebanon to Kuwait. And it was a nightmare, the way we left and whether we will make it or not. And also, so I relived my childhood. But now with a responsibility, I am the one responsible of taking all the decisions. And I remember like I was asking my dad, like, okay, what do you think? What should I do? He was like, I would love you to be there with your husband. And so that I wouldn't worry about you, but I cannot tell you whether you leave or not, because I don't know what will happen on the road. I cannot take this on my conscience. So again, it was a nightmare and we got out. I got to Kuwait and I'm like, so my husband, he said, so the plan was when we go back at the end of the summer, we put the down payment for a house and we start paying for a house, and we got a house in Beirut. So he's like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
Okay, so where would we go?
Where do you go? Yeah.
And this is where, like, the Canada thing was in the back of our mind, and we hear people leaving to Canada. It's very common in our part of the world to hear people coming to here. Coming here. So I'm like, let's apply to Canada. And this is what we did in 2006. In 2010, we got the approval because we came as skilled workers. So based on our degrees and this. So, and we came here in 2010. We landed. We were working in Kuwait. We had money. So we thought that everything is so cheap. Everything is so nice. Because like we were paid in dinar, which was $3.33. Right. So it's like, it was a lot of money. To spend the vacation, it was awesome. So we spent 5 weeks here. We worked on our papers and all this. And the kids, at that time, I had my third kid.
Okay. Yep.
So, and the kids wouldn't want to go back.
Right.
They loved it here.
Yep.
The parks, so all this we do not have in Kuwait because it's so hot. So you don't go out to parks and this. So it was, they loved it and we loved it. And in 2011, we moved.
Yes. And you landed in Kitchener-Waterloo?
We landed like in Toronto.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had a friend in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Okay.
But we weren't sure whether we go to Kitchener-Waterloo, so during this year, between 2010 and 2011, the summer, I was looking for houses. Yes. I was searching which is the best place to live in and so on. So it was between Ottawa and the Waterloo region. Yeah. Because we have a lot of friends in Mississauga. Yep. But when I was like reading and researching, it was like, this is not the best place to raise a family. and we're here alone. We don't have family. We don't have anybody to help us. So it was between Ottawa and Waterloo. And then Ottawa is colder.
Right.
So we picked that one. As
Yes,
if like
Ottawa's
Waterloo
colder.
is not cold, you know? So, yeah.
So the weather was the breaker.
Yeah, exactly. And now my kids are going to Ottawa.
How ironic. Yeah.
Oh my God. I told them, you know what? Now I will leave here and follow you to Ottawa after all these years.
After all these years. So now you're here and you've entered into the job market here, and you were in a company that you weren't very happy with, and decided you're going to pursue the passion around teaching and learning, because that's the key piece. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about COVID. Why don't you talk a little bit about the decision to pursue a PhD? I'm so interested in how people make career decisions, right? Yeah. And that includes the learning piece, right? Yeah. The learning and what is that going to help you? Like what is that going to get you in the end, right?
The PhD decision wasn't new.
Okay.
It was since I finished my MBA, I wanted to do a PhD. At that time, it was more like a DBA, a doctorate in in business administration. So it was in the back of my mind. The kids were young, so they needed me. So this is why I picked like these certificates. Yeah. This is something that I can manage while raising kids. Now my kids I have 2 at the university level and 1 that is grade 11.
Close, yeah.
So I'm like...
Close to leaving the nest.
Exactly. And it's very tough. So yes. It is... so I was like, now is the time for me to achieve what I want.
Right.
And I love it.
So what does it look like? You said it's sustainability in education. Is that right?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
It is how to make education sustainable to this future generation. So it is a mix of lots of stuff. The sustainability, it's we're talking not only environment, we're talking about social justice, we're talking about economic. So it is a mix of lots of stuff,
right?
More than just the environment,
right? And what are you hoping that will sort of because I guess one of the things that I talk about is like, what is that return on my investment going to be, right? Because that's part of, for me, that's part of a decision making. Yeah. What are you hoping that's going to?
Okay, so first of all, it's for me.
Yes, of course.
It is because I want to do this.
Yeah, of course.
This is the first thing, because if you don't want to do it, you can never do it.
Yeah, of course.
So I enjoy learning new stuff and all these stuff.
Yeah.
Second, it will help with my company. My partner, she's a PhD holder in engineering. So having a PhD in education in a company that is related to teaching and to training, so it will definitely help.
Right.
And being the CEO, it also helps.
Yes.
So again, so it will be, at least we will come, both of us, as really
right.
Settled and well.
The currency.
Yeah.
The currency, the credibility. Right? The credibility.
Exactly.
So that you can make an impact.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So that you can make an impact.
Because even like at our part of the world, it is like you can come with plenty of certificates.
Right.
But if you're not doctor.
I see.
So you're not credible enough.
Gotcha.
So
That's
so
interesting.
It's like, this is something that like it was an added value.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course. So let's shift then into sort of your company and sort of where you want to go. What are you hoping in terms of, what does that impact look like? What are you hoping to? I mean, isn't it fun that we're in December and we start to think about what we want to accomplish for the 2024 year? And I can't even believe that we're saying 2024 as well. But what are you hoping to accomplish? Where are you hoping to take? You said it's called MpowerU.
MpowerU Training and Consultancy.
Yeah. Where are you hoping to take it?
I'm not sure where they are in terms of teaching strategies there.
Yeah.
And about the inclusivity, about the equity, about all these stuff that we are learning here, about even the use of technology in their classrooms, the engaging students and all these stuff. So I'm like, I have the opportunity to learn all this stuff here. So I would love everyone to have the chance to learn in an environment that is engaging, that is inclusive, that is like people will feel heard, you know. So when I learned, it was a completely different setup. I'm not sure at that time what kind of setup it was here. So, but definitely, like again, we are in the advanced world, the developed world. So why not taking all this to there? Maybe in Lebanon they are a bit more advanced. Maybe in, I don't know. Like again, we are still in the process. We have market studies. And we know where we're going at this point in time, but eventually I want to go all over the Middle East and
Gotcha.
even North Africa, where like we're talking about Egypt, Tunisia,
Yes.
Algeria, and Libya, and all like.
Right.
So I want everybody to have the chance to learn in a, to enjoy learning.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you enjoy learning, you can be creative.
Yeah.
And you can go beyond what is a specific textbook can tell you.
Yeah. So this is interesting. My next set of questions are around sort of trends and, of course, how technology is going to impact your industry. And you're talking about it more even on that global scale, right? Between bringing this pieces of knowledge that you've found to be so amazing and kind of bring it there. Where do you sort of see some future trends that you might have to be looking for, or where do you think maybe AI might impact some of that? Yeah.
Okay.
Good. So, I'm glad you like that question. That's a good one.
Yeah. Like basically, my dissertation will be on AI and its effect on education.
Okay. This is right up your alley. I will learn so much from you, I think.
And like AI is making a huge difference, like a huge influence on everything.
Right.
I was completely against it.
Okay.
When it, I first started seeing students using it.
Okay.
So I refused to even create an account.
Okay.
And try it.
Okay. So what
Till
changed?
One day,
okay.
My son, he's like, Mom, come and see. And he was showing me how he asks questions and it answers him. And like, I'm like, what the heck? What's this?
What is this?
and I found out that, okay, it's not a taboo. It can be something that's really beneficial to everybody. And this is what I try to explain to my students. I'm not saying that students won't use AI is just like hiding behind the door. So it's like, no, they will be using AI. Okay, let me teach them how to use it.
Right. So what do you think that's going to look like then? How do you think AI and education are going to intersect in a way that is going to be impactful and meaningful? I guess that's part of your dissertation, right? That is the question, probably, right?
Yeah, no, it will be like how AI will help in the educational sustainability.
Yes, of course.
This will be like the.
Yeah.
This is again, it's still rough.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't have a clear vision yet. I think it will take it to a different level, but I think that what's important is the awareness and the first of all the acceptance from the faculty side, and the understanding I think like the whole curriculum will be changed. Everything will be changing with the AI introduction. And I think that we need to teach students how to make it beneficial to them, but do not let it replace them and replace their thinking and their creativity. So it's still at the very beginning, at least for me.
Right.
I'm not sure how far it is.
Right.
When I'm reading, I see that it's been there for a long time, but I'm like, okay, for me, it's still
very
like
new.
very new.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm trying. This is what I'm trying with my students now. I'm like, use it,
Right.
but use it in a smart way.
Right. So let's move into sort of advice and next steps. And I actually kind of want to go back. And one of the things I'm kind of curious about is pieces around mentorship. And you talked a little bit about this relationship that you have with this person from the University of Waterloo. And I wonder if maybe you wanted to talk about that relationship a little bit more. What does that look like? Would you categorize it as being sort of a mentorship?
No, she's a friend. Yeah,
okay.
It wasn't a mentorship relationship at all. It was a friendship. It started all with I am a part of a folkloric dance group.
Okay.
So she is the she teaches us.
Okay, fun.
So this is how I got to
work with her.
To meet her.
Okay.
So and she's so with time she became a very, very close friend. I appreciate her a lot. She has done a lot. She achieves a lot, and she has achieved a lot. And I respect her a lot. So it's like she's there. I know she's always been there for me. So I'm like, okay, why don't we get together more on a business side? Yeah. So I talked to her like a friend at the beginning. It wasn't like a mentorship.
Right.
But she was, for example, I worked with her during COVID on a paper.
Okay.
So we wanted to publish a paper together.
Great.
So again, like I had, we've been working together on several levels. And so I was like, we know how each one of us works.
Right.
So why not?
Yeah, bring this together. Yeah. What about mentorship then? Would you
mentorship? Yes, I've been a mentor forever.
Okay.
Since I was like, even when I was at the UNESCO.
Okay.
At that time, I like the relationship. I like helping people achieve their dreams.
Right.
So as I've said, like I was with a leader in the Scouts. So it's part of it is mentorship.
Yes, of course.
Even here, when I came to Canada, I joined the Girl Guides.
Okay.
And so I was there also. And I've not worked, like I volunteered with the YMCA for a while as a mentor and trying to get people where they want to be.
Right.
Yeah. So, I love it. And still till now, like I talk to my kids, I talk to their friends, I talk to kids of friends, and so anyone, you're welcome.
Yeah,
let me help you.
Absolutely. What advice do you have for students? What advice do you have for other people maybe watching this and thinking through their career decisions?
Don't be afraid of taking challenges. Like, your passion might change with time. Follow your guts and enjoy the challenge. So yes, I understand it can be frustrating. Oh my God, yes. It can be overwhelming. It can be, you will spend nights crying. It's okay. This is part of it. This is how we grow as people. So, but always have the goal there. So do nothing, and you will never achieve. You will never get there. So there will always be another there.
Right.
And there will be another goal.
And another one.
And another one.
Yeah.
Because this is how we grow as people.
Yeah.
So enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
The journey is tough. There will be lots of bumps, but enjoy it, because during these bumps, you're learning a lot and you're living.
Exactly.
You're living. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you have any?
Follow your passion.
Follow your passion. I was
Follow
going to say,
your
do you have
passion.
any other closing thoughts as we kind of wrap up?
Follow your passion. Follow your passion. And never give up. Because you are worth more.
Right.
Than where you are now.
Yeah.
So
sounds like wise words.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, what a great conversation. Thank you for listening to this episode of Let's Talk Careers. If you liked this episode and want to hear more, follow us on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. See you in the next one.